Hey guys, so today I just finished reading The Sinner. So in the story, I cannot give like super a lot of details just because it is a dark romance book, but it picks up and you get to see a completely different perspective from the book Ritual. So you end up meeting Ellie and Sin and Sin's sister, which is Ellie's best friend. She ends up leaving her notebook at Sin's house. And when she leaves her notebook at Sin's house, Sin brings her notebook with three of his friends, and she has to read it out loud for a class presentation. You learn stuff is going on between Ellie and her professor, and Sin takes care of that issue. You end up also learning about everything that Ellie has been through in her life. I do want to say this book at the beginning, make sure you go through and read all your trigger warnings because there's some things that will trigger a lot of people. This was a pull down book also for me, but you end up learning everything that Ellie's been through. And Sin wanted Ellie to be his chosen, and it turns out nobody wanted her to be his chosen. She wasn't on the list or the roster that they were given. But after learning that Sin is the one that killed her dad, which she calls him the masked man, she will message the masked man when things go wrong. And then one day when she's in the tub, the masked man goes and crushes her phone and drops it. And here comes Sin, which is him. Yeah. He ends up finding her diary and also reading it, figuring out that she has a crush on him. And then, after learning everything that has happened to her, he wants to protect her even more. But her mom ends up telling her that she can't be with him. The Lords don't want him with her just because they want to keep their secret. They called her, she was doing some things and being called some names due to them trying to ruin her so nobody else would want her besides the somebody that their parents arranged the marriage for. And over time in the book, he saves her so much. He ends up, so his dad, we get to learn what Carnage is, and Sin ends up bringing her dad back from Carnage, which ends up, you learn that the dad really wasn't killed. It was his twin brother. And Aunt Ellie at first is standoffish when it comes to him magically popping back up. But over time, their relationship does get better. Her dad then gives him a whole new life outside of the Lords, ends up also making sure that nobody will know who he is, but he ends up finding somebody that he really, really loves. And then over time in the book, Ellie ends up pregnant. You learn this in the epilogue. Ends up pregnant, and he gets a call from the three guys from Carnage, and they called Ellie and him over there. They learned out that Ellie's mom, that they dropped off at Carnage to repay them for letting Ellie's dad out, learns that Ellie's mom, she's in Carnage, is pregnant. They also sacrificed Sin's dad. They learn that Ellie's mom is pregnant by Sin's dad. And they give Ellie and Sin the choice to keep the baby or gives them some other options that I don't agree with. But with that being said, they end up taking care of the baby. Ellie's pregnant. So they were raised like twins, a boy and a girl. And they end up living happily, like It's kind of happy ever after, but she gets the love that she deserves. It's just this book falls hand in hand with the ritual, and you get the different perspectives from the Lords. So I love that. I cannot wait to read The Sacrifice. I have heard so many rants and raves about it that I'm beyond excited to read it. This book I started on the 19th and finished it today on the 26th. I have a better detailed version that will be posted to my Goodreads and Fables. I hope y'all have an amazing day, and if you have read this book, let me hear your opinions on it.